Good morning. Welcome to First Church Unitarian here in Littleton, Massachusetts. My name is Lara Hoke, pronouns she, her, and I'm so happy and lucky to be the minister serving this incredible congregation. They are incredible. If you are here with us for the first time, welcome, whether you're here in the sanctuary or whether you're with us online. We're so glad that you're with us. We're much better for your presence. Know that we welcome the sounds of babies and children, and especially today of all days, because we're having a child dedication. Yeah, very exciting, which is why I'm in this fancy robe. And we're also going to be talking about Imbolc, which is an earth-centered Gaelic holiday. We have had sort of a brutal ride since January 20th. I know some of you are feeling that. But we have each other, and we work together with allies, and we can do all we can together to create a loving, better world. And I know we love our immigrant siblings, we love our transgender siblings, our disabled siblings, and all who are being targeted at this time. We're better in a world of beautiful diversity, the way it's meant to be. Today, if you would like some pastoral care, you could always reach out to me if you wish to speak, but you can also reach out to one of our wonderful lay ministers. Today's lay minister is Patty Sardella, and our other lay ministers are David Butts, Ann Donald, Jan Dustin, and Linda Kaler. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jim for Community Matters.
Thank you, Reverend Lara. Good morning, First Church Unitarian. Welcome to everybody joining us online. Welcome to everybody here in the sanctuary. A special welcome to the extended Hollinger family and friends for the dedication of Ruth Eloise, Cheryl Onyemelukwe Hollinger. I had to practice the Hollinger part. So I'm Jim Nehring, he, him. I have the privilege of serving on the standing committee and the joy of singing in the choir under the direction of our amazing Molly Lozeau. We are a community that resists injustice, acts of oppression, and the abuse of power. We do so through direct action, and we do so by cultivating joy within our expanding community. To that end, I have two announcements this morning. The first is that directly after the service today in the downstairs dining room, for anyone who is interested, we will gather to discuss how to respond to recent events in our nation. The second is the launch of a very joyful stewardship campaign, which will begin next Sunday and will go through March 9th. There was an announcement that came over the FCU listserv. If you missed it, go back and take a look. We're going to have some fun, some hijinks, and some good community building, and hopefully raise the roof with our pledges this year. I have one other announcement, which is that you should have received an email earlier this week about sending in videos for a special surprise that we're going to put together. The URL for that video was incorrect. It's going to be corrected later today, so you'll get another email with that. After the service, please join us for refreshments through this door. Please be mindful through the narrow hallways of those who may be mobility challenged. Silence your phone and your other devices, and welcome to our sacred service.
In the first fresh days of February, mi-februar, the Cailleach lets go her hold. Fragile days, slight as the sickle moon, the first slithers of light brightening the horizon. Bridget come to lay out the dying winter to the birth of spring. All across the world, the three sisters, the Tres Marias, the belt of stars that births us into wonder, a new season, fragile as an infant born into sleet and hail. Spring, tenuous as the glimmers of light returning each day. 2 minutes more. Bridget's strength swelling by the smallest increment, calling the sap to rise, the ferns to uncurl, cycles of frost and sun burning the new leaves, and Bridget, goddess of healing, repairing each bud, until the Cailleach's cloak becomes Bridget's mantle. All that is tangled shall be unraveled. All that is frayed will be mended. The words of Grace Wells. Let us worship. I'd like to invite Sierra to come up and light our chalice this morning. There she is. And as Sierra lights our chalice, please join me in saying the words of our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Thank you. Please join me in singing our opening hymn. It's number 51 in the gray hymnal, but the lyrics are also on the screens, Lady of the Seasons, Laughter. And please rise in body or spirit. It has long been the practice of this congregation to care for and nurture children, to guide their ethical and spiritual development. This morning, we affirm the inherent worth and dignity of a wonderful child. We come together to celebrate her place in the interdependent web of all existence, including her family of origin, but also including this congregation, which constitutes part of her extended family. We come together to rededicate ourselves as a community of faith to the nurturance of a child who today represents our dreams, our hopes, and our future. At this time, I would like to invite up Rue and her parents, Mary and Kenichi, as well as grandparents Cheryl and Mark, Beth and Kelvin. I think Kelvin is joining us online. Great-grandparents Amos, Catherine, and Eloise. I believe Eloise is online. And godparents Sarah Jane and Jimmy. And last but not least, I invite any children or youth here who are present, if you wish, to come closer, sit by Thea and me if you'd like a better view. Beautiful family. Mary and Kenichi, in choosing to have your daughter Rue dedicated, you're inviting all of us to continue to share some of the joy and responsibility that is yours as parents to nurture this beautiful child and encourage her to live up to her fullest potential. Do you promise, to the best of your abilities, to nourish her spirit as well as her body? Do you promise to show her your path, but support her as she finds her own path? Do you promise to appreciate and celebrate her uniqueness? Do you now promise that you will help her to grow up with an appreciation of truth and beauty, compassion and love? If so, please say, "We do." Wonderful. And will you seek the support from loving friends and family represented by those around you here this morning when you find that you're in need of it? If so, say, "We will." Wonderful. I would now like to invite Kenichi and Mary to share their own promises to Rue.
Rue, we promise to do our best to provide an environment in which you can grow to be the best version of yourself.
Thank you for paying attention. We promise to work to inspire a lifelong love of learning, a sense of global citizenship, and a deep appreciation for both individuality and community.
We will do our best to build your community, the village it takes to raise a child, with friends and family who can help guide your path.
We promise to share with you our values, including honesty, respect for yourself and others, and science.
We will do our best to nurture your curiosity and encourage you to be an active participant in your education.
We recognize that you will do things differently than we would, and we will support you in navigating life towards your definition of success.
We promise to protect you, trying our best to balance our instincts with respect for your independence and ability to protect yourself.
We promise to love you unconditionally and to keep reminding you of that.
We love you.
Thank you, that was lovely. And now a charge to the godparents. Mary and Kenichi have chosen Sarah Jane and Jimmy to be the godparents of their child. Sarah Jane and Jimmy, through the love you share with this child, she will learn of the beauty and trust of friendship and of the warmth and loving circle of friends and family. Will you show a special love and concern and caring for Rue? Will you give her a special place in your lives as she grows to maturity? In the event the parents are prevented from discharging their responsibilities for her nurture, will you endeavor to the best of your abilities to instruct her by your teaching and example of the ways of reverence, love, and service? If so, please say, "We will." Wonderful. A charge to the grandparents and great-grandparents. Mark and Cheryl, Beth and Kelvin, as grandparents of Rue, and Amos, Catherine, and Eloise as the great-grandparents, you each have a very special place in her life. Will you share with her your understandings, but also guide and support her as she seeks her own understandings? Will you endeavor to the best of your abilities to nurture her love of learning and help her grow up with an appreciation of truth, love, and family? Will you continue to support Kenichi and Mary as they nurture Rue? If so, please say, "We will." Wonderful. This is for you. A charge to the congregation. To you, the gathered congregation here this morning, including both members and friends of First Church Unitarian, as well as dear family and friends of Mary and Kenichi, I give you an important charge. An old proverb says, "It takes a village to raise a child." From this ancient wisdom comes the awareness that no one, no couple, can successfully raise a child without the help of others. Today, you rededicate yourselves to being an important part of the loving village surrounding this family. Therefore, I call upon all of you to pledge your support to these parents as they engage in the sometimes joyful and sometimes frustrating journey of parenthood. If you here accept the responsibility to care for the parents as they care for their child as she grows into adulthood, please answer by saying, "We will." We will. Wonderful. And now a charge to the children and youth of the congregation here today. To the children and youth of this congregation, I say this: you are the closest in age to Rue, and you will be working and growing in the same world together with her. I want you to remember this. In dedicating Rue, we all celebrate and give thanks for the presence of each one of you, too. And while the words we say this morning are especially for her, they're also meant for you. Will you, children and youth of the congregation, treat Rue with fairness? Will you be a good older friend to her when you see her, helping her when she needs it? If you will, please answer, "We will." We will. All right. Little not together. Try it again. We will. We will. Yes. Excellent. Thank you. In our first worship service together this year, the congregation had a water communion for our ingathering ceremony. In this child dedication, we once more use water as a symbol of our connection to all life. The water we use this morning comes directly from our water communion. It has been boiled for purification, but cooled to room temperature. In addition to water communion, this congregation also celebrates a flower communion in the spring, honoring beauty and uniqueness of each of us. In this child dedication ceremony, we use a particular flower, a rose, as a symbol of the unique beauty and preciousness and potential of each child. It's thornless to represent the protection and care that we aspire to give each child. Kenichi and Mary, what name have you chosen for your daughter?
Ruth, Eloise, Cheryl, Anya Miniquay, Oliver.
I can't get these props right. Ruth, Eloise, Cheryl, Anumelaque, Hollinger. As I touch you with this rose, dipped in water, we welcome you with love and gratitude into this community. May you always be surrounded by people who love you. May you speak the truth. May you be blessed with courage and an understanding heart. May you help to make this world a better place. May your life be filled with friends and beauty and joy. Amen, and blessed be. It's with great pleasure that I present this beautiful child, Ruth Eloise Cheryl Anumelaque Hollinger, to the congregation. May she ever be welcomed here. May she ever be welcomed in our hearts. Amen, and blessed be. Thank you. In celebration, let us sing hymn number 16, "'Tis a Gift to be Simple." Please be seated.
The Reverend Erica Hewitt has written, "The offering that we take each Sunday isn't just a stale habit. It's an opportunity to recommit to this place and to this people. Our offering is an affirmation, a yes. When we give, we say yes to something we value. With our gifts freely given, may we say yes to the values of our faith. May our offering help us practice Unitarian Universalism within and beyond our congregation. For those in the sanctuary, please put any cash or checks into the plates as they come around. For virtual participants, you can go to our website, fculittle.org, and look for the yellow donate button in the upper right. There you will see details for how to donate online, if you wish. You could also send a check to the church through the mail, if you wish, to the attention of the Assistant Treasurer. The offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation."
Please join with me in the words of our community response. May we be transformed by our giving and may the world be transformed by our gifts. Many mornings we have a special time we call the Candles of Caring. This is an opportunity to share those cares dearest to you with this gathered beloved community. If you have a special joy or concern or sorrow that you would like to share this morning, if you're able and you're in the sanctuary, we invite you to come up and use the microphone and let us know your name and briefly let us know how we can direct our thoughts, prayers, and healing wishes. If you wish, we can also bring a microphone to you where you sit. And for those of you who are with us on Zoom, if you wish to share, please raise the hand in the reactions area and we will call on you in turn. For those who are going to speak from the sanctuary, if you're able, I invite you to line up on the side aisles so that we can have more people share. Are there any candles of caring this morning? I begin with a kind of confession. In the past, I have been mostly drawn to the world's so-called great religions, which are the ones that are scripturally based. And I have in the past given paltry attention to earth-centered traditions, the ones that are not scripturally based. I suppose with the exception of talking about various Native American traditions on Indigenous Peoples Sunday. And I think this showed my bias toward the written word, which is common among those of us who have been breathing in the air of white supremacy culture all our lives. But that bias away from earth-centered traditions has been shifting for me a little bit as I recently entered the early part of my crone years. If you take a look at the quilt behind me in the lower right, you will see what is called a symbol, sometimes called the triple goddess symbol, and it shows the 3 phases of the moon, each of which could be associated with 3 stages of a woman's life, or really translated to anybody's life. There's the waxing crescent moon to the left, which is for the maiden or youthful years of one's life. And then the big full moon in the middle, which is for the mother years or the prime of one's life. And then the waning crescent moon to the right, which is the crone years or the postmenopausal woman or the last third, let's say, of someone's life. So I'm right here. Was that too much information? I don't know. A change since you've known me, so if I've been grumpy, now you know why. Now, today, as you know, we're talking about Imbolc, which is one of the main Gaelic seasonal festivals, along with Beltane, which here we think of as May Day, or Samhain, which we might associate with Halloween or All Souls Day. Yesterday, February 1st, was the official day of Imbolc. It's also celebrated in Ireland especially as St. Bridget's Festival Day or Feast Day. And there's a connection to this triple goddess symbol. Imbolc celebrates the turning of the wheel of the year. In particular, it celebrates the true midwinter time when we're right between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. So we're moving from the crone or the waning crescent moon elder time of one's life, time of year, to that waxing crescent moon, the youthful time, the maiden years of one's year. And there's a connection to the goddess as well. In our call to worship, maybe some of you noticed the names Cailleach and Brigid. In Gaelic mythology, the Cailleach is a supernatural, powerful, elderly woman goddess figure, and she is the divine queen, or sometimes known as the divine hag of winter. In the Irish and Scottish Gaelic languages, Cailleach means old woman or hag. I'm feeling my divine hag self this morning. I don't know about you. Imbolc is when the Cailleach gives way, some legends say melts away, to Brigid, the young woman goddess figure who represents fertility, new life, healing, poetry, and more. Now in Ireland, there's also this very important Catholic figure, Saint Brigid. And she is one of Ireland's patron saints, along with St. Patrick. And St. Brigid's feast day is February 1st, which obviously can't be a coincidence. So Brigid, the goddess, and St. Brigid are both associated with February 1st, with healing, spring, poetry, fire, care for animals, and so on. Some believe that the ancient Gaelic goddess was Christianized to create St. Brigid. Some believe that St. Brigid was a historical figure in her own right. Stories of St. Brigid were written about a century after her death, which was in 525 AD. And these stories describe St. Brigid as a champion of the poor, a lover of nature, and a worker of miracles. There's even a story about St. Brigid that mirrors the wedding of Cana story in the New Testament, where Jesus turns water into wine. In this story, St. Brigid is visiting a leper colony, and she finds that the inhabitants have run out of beer, which is what they drink since the water wasn't safe to drink. So, according to the story, St. Brigid miraculously turns bath water into beer. Is that why Guinness is so dark? I'm just wondering. I've never been a fan, honestly. In some stories of her life, St. Brigid was the daughter of a druid or a Celtic pagan priest, so there's an association with magic. And you might know that the St. Brigid cross, which is pictured on the cover of the order service and on the slides, and here's a St. Brigid's cross. These are usually made from straw or other earthen materials, and they're hung to ward off evil with the protection of St. Brigid. And these crosses have an earthy feel to them, which also feels connected to the earth-centered traditions and origins. So, St. Brigid and Brigid the goddess intermingle one way or the other at this time of year. In Ireland, Imbolc, February 1st, believe it or not, is seen as the beginning of spring. Now, I dare say that here in the United States, we don't think of February 1st as the beginning of spring. Some of us think of today, February 2nd, as Groundhog Day. And did you hear? Puxatawny Phil saw his shadow, 6 more weeks of winter. I'm sorry. But I'm delighted to say that there's a connection, because Imbolc is also a time for weather prognostication. And the story might sound a little familiar. In the Scottish Gaelic tradition, there's this habit of waiting to see if serpents or badgers will come out of their winter dens. And if they do come out, it means a longer winter. In other Gaelic traditions, the Cailleach, or the divine winter hag, if it's a sunny day, she'll gather firewood, which means she'll be nice and warm through a nice long winter. But according to the legends, if it's a dark and dreary day, she'll stay sleeping in, and it'll be a shorter winter. So it does sound a little familiar. Here in the United States, February might not be seen as spring, but it's still perhaps the time of year when we begin to allow ourselves to think about spring coming. It isn't yet spring, but it's the waxing of spring. Daylight is increasing, and personally, February is when I start to notice that a bit. And though we're not seeing green leaves or flowers yet, They're just beneath the surface. We can't see them, but we know. New life is on the verge of coming through. The winter is about to melt away into the fertile season. It's all just beneath the surface. We know it's there. We don't even need faith to know that it's about to break through, because it will, it always does. Earth-centered traditions don't need any miracles other than the miracle of nature. Imbolc is an ideal time to think about what's deep inside yourself, too. What's deep inside you waiting to be born? What's deep inside you that's wonderful and waiting to be born, and maybe you know it or maybe you don't, but it could be about to come through. Imbolc and Bridget are also about healing. It's a time to think about your own healing and transformation. It's a time for renewal. Can we heal and renew ourselves? Can we heal and transform our world? Down below where the roses are, you'll see some small charms, some Bridget's cross charms and some St. Bridget charms, and also some small stones. Before you leave today, if you wish, please help yourself to one of these charms or stones. Keep it in your pocket. Feel for it, perhaps rub it between your fingers to remind yourself that wonderful things are deep inside you, that wonderful things are there in this world all the time, and that healing, renewal, and transformation will come. I close with the words of best-selling Scottish author Donna Ashworth. She writes, "When I think of February, I think of more light, more life, more hope, more faith. Nature has no fear that spring will not return, that better days beckon, and neither must we. We know better days are ahead. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen." Our closing hymn is called the Imbolc hymn, and we sing it to the tune of "Water is Wide," and the words are by Unitarian Universalist Unitarian Universalist minister Kendall Gibbons, who also wrote the lyrics to our first hymn this morning. So I invite you to rise in body or spirit. The lyrics are on the insert, but also you'll see them on the screens. For our closing words, If you're comfortable, I invite you to hold hands with the person next to you or touch elbows or feet or whatever works for you, or simply hold up your hands and feel the energy between us and those who are with us online. Feel the spring, the wonderful things just waiting to break through. Good things are never far away. A musician knows that a wrong note is just a half step away from a right note. It might sound really bad in the moment, but you're not far away from beautiful music in a beautiful world. Have faith, keep hope. Good things are coming. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen.